It's Thanksgiving Day in the USA, and it's become an airtime thrills tradition. I've made this day the day I make annual predictions for the theme park world. I'm going to tell you what I foresee happening this coming year, but I also have to hold myself accountable for last year's picks. So we'll take a look at those too. I want to tell you what coaster will be the first to open, which coaster will open way too late to the point of embarrassment, what coaster will be the sleeper hit, who will win all the major golden ticket awards, which coasters will close down, which parks will announce a new coaster, and end with a bold prediction. These are my 2026 theme park predictions. First, let's go over my picks from last year and see if I got anything right. I said Repterra would be the first coaster to open, considering they had it built before the last season ended, and it would for sure be ready for opening day in March. That was correct, and it did open very early in the season, but some other notable coasters beat it. The official winner was Fruitworm Pulley and Family Roller Coaster at Guangzhou Zoological Garden in China, those opening on January 2nd. But among the bigger names, Aquila opened at Poland's Vandoria on January 19th, Daddy Pig's Roller Coaster opened with Peppa Pig Land in Texas on March 1st, Beach Rescue Coaster at SeaWorld San Antonio opened on March 8th, Georgia Gold Rusher at Six Flags Over Georgia opened on March 15th, and then Repterra opened on March 29th, the same day Flash Vertical Velocity opened at Great Adventure. Next, the coaster that would open way too late, and I chose Atmospheria. I thought construction was kinda slow, and given the cold winters in Canada, the fact this is a double launch coaster, I thought it could face some construction or mechanical delays, and it wound up opening on July 12th. That's pretty late in my opinion, but kinda common for coasters that open in July. I don't get it, but in the end, it wasn't the latest. Circuit Breaker opened up on October 17th, but you could say this opened early, not late, considering Codaland gave up on opening the full park this year, and they opened up just this coaster during a race. But then you have Six Flags Qiddiya, that's opening New Year's Eve. That's literally as late as you can get. As for the sleeper hit, I said Siren's Curse. This was kind of a late announcement. Everyone was interested in the circumstances and how this came to be, moving here from Six Flags Mexico. Maybe this was here as an insurance policy if Top Thrill 2 had a terrible season. I thought maybe the quality of the ride would be an afterthought, and this could be a very good ride. Actually, one of the best coasters in the park, and in that sense, I think I was right. It's been getting rave reviews. I would also say a big sleeper hit in 2025 is Hiccup's Wing Gliders at Epic Universe. What was overlooked as just a family coaster at this new park, surrounded by all these world-class rides, it turned out to be long, forceful, and one of the best family coasters I've ever ridden. Now, the Golden Ticket Awards, and I said Atmospheria would bag the award for Best New Coaster, but that went to Stardust Racers. They've gotten real boring with the Best Steel and Best Wood Coaster. It's been year after year after year, Fury for Steel, Phoenix for Wood. I figured that would be the same, and of course it was. My secondary picks were Velocicoaster and Thunderhead, and Velocicoaster ended up finishing second, Thunderhead fifth. Finally, for Best Park, I went for Silver Dollar City, and that didn't happen. They went back to Europa Park for the second straight year, celebrating its 50th anniversary this year and coming off the addition of Voltron. When it comes to closures, I actually got a lot right. I said the Kid Flash coasters would be officially done, and they were. I said with the additions of Repterra and Alpenfury, King's Dominion would remove Anaconda, and Canada's Wonderland would remove Time Warp, and that was true. I said Superman Escape from Krypton would also be axed as they build a new coaster too. That happened. And I said Flash Vertical Velocity at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom would be gone. That I was wrong about. It reopened this summer. I threw out a few others to watch, including Formula Rosa, Steel Curtain, and Top Thrill 2. These were outside shots, kind of a worst case scenario for all the coasters that had a lot of downtime this year. But all three seem to have had a good year and live on for now. Other closures I missed include Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, Jetstar 2 at Lagoon, Switchback at ZDT's, Nighthawk at Carowinds, and of course, just about every coaster at Six Flags America. Although we don't know the fate of any of them yet, it's not going to end well for the majority of them. Now, new coaster announcements. And I said, based on what Six Flags told us at the end of 2024, expect new coaster announcements from Magic Mountain, Over Texas, and Mexico. And we got Over Texas and Mexico, and as of right now, we're still waiting on Magic Mountain, but track is on site, so something is happening next year. I mentioned 3 parks celebrating a big anniversary, Valleyfair's 50th, Knoebel's 100th, and Indiana Beach's 100th, and we didn't hear anything from any of them. Dollywood was set to get an indoor ride. I thought it could be a coaster, turns out it wasn't. I thought Alton Towers could reveal Secret Weapon 9, That didn't happen, but they did announce a Bluey-themed family coaster. Also, on the international scene, I mentioned Energylandia and Everland. Those didn't happen. Stateside, also Adventureland. Nothing there. And then I set my sights on the SeaWorld chain, picking out SeaWorld Orlando, San Diego, and even Busch Gardens Tampa as an outside shot. I was 0 for 3 on those, but I should have said SeaWorld San Antonio. They announced the B&M Family Suspended Coaster, Barracuda Strike. Kentucky Kingdom finally got a new coaster in Flying Fox, a family suspended coaster of the Vekoma variety. Legoland Florida and California getting the same indoor coasters from Art Engineering. And back on the international scene, Plopsaland Deutschland, Hansa Park, and Sarkanemi would have been right answers. Also, Family Kingdom is getting an RMC Raptor next year. Finally, my bold prediction was that we would see the first B&M Giga Dive and the first Vekoma Hyper announced in 2025. I put these together because I was somewhat confident in the B&M Dive. We didn't know Tormenta at Over Texas would be 300 plus feet, but when they said a record-breaking dive was coming, we knew that was a strong possibility. So, to make it a true bold prediction, I paired that with a Vekoma Hyper, something Energylandia almost got instead of Hyperion, but I struck out on that one. So, just 1 for 2 on my bold prediction parlay. That said, 2 years ago my bold prediction was that a Six Flags park would be announced to close by the end of the year, and I was a year off on that one. Six Flags America being the first casualty of the merger. Now, let's pivot to this year's predictions, starting with the first coaster to open in 2026. I think the best bet right now is Barracuda Strike at SeaWorld San Antonio. This is a park that's open all year. The project isn't very big. The coaster is already vertical. This could open sometime in February, early March. In terms of coasters on my radar, this is my best bet. Next, the coaster that will open way too late, and my money is on the Magic Mountain Vekoma Thrill Glider. They have track on site. Even without an official announcement, they're ahead of schedule compared to West Coast racers. That opened to pass holders right before Christmas, and I can see this opening sometime in the fall, if it even opens in 2026 at all. Also, keep an eye on Mattel Adventure Park. I wouldn't be surprised if that opened late in 2026. Same with Bond Luxury Theme Park in Mexico. I read they're targeting a fall 2026 opening, so that will by definition be super late for all their coasters. For my sleeper hit, I'm going back to Bond Luxury Park for Takiwani Beast. This looks like it could be one of Vekoma's best coasters. 2 launches, 6 inversions. People were really excited for this when it was announced back in 2024, but the buzz has died down for now. I'm thinking everyone is sleeping on this park and this coaster for now, and that's going to heat up during the summer if they can meet their opening goal, assuming it won't get pushed to 2027 or beyond, which is definitely possible. And suddenly, one of the world's best coasters will be in operation, and anyone who can get to Puerto Vallarta is in for a treat. Magic Mountain's Thrill Glider could also be awesome. Yeah, it may be family friendly, but we've never seen this type of coaster before. It's going to use terrain on the side of that hill. It could be really awesome. Now, for the Golden Ticket Awards, and for Best New Coaster, I'm going with Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift, the new Intamin launch coaster coming to Universal Studios Hollywood. This looks like it could be the best coaster in California, the West Coast answer to Velocicoaster, built on the side of that giant hill that separates the two sides of the park. It's going to have a high profile being at a Universal park in California, so it'll have the exposure to get votes, and the quality to deserve votes, so it should win. For Best Steel Coaster, it would be crazy to pick anything except for Fury 325, so that is my official pick, but I like to make a secondary pick just to make it interesting, and I'm going to go with Stardust Racers. That won the award for Best New Coaster this year, but it wasn't anywhere near the top of the Best Steel Coaster standings. I say give it another year where people can go ride it, and it's got an outside shot at taking the top spot. For Wood, you'd be crazy to pick anything except for Phoenix, and I don't even have a secondary pick. Voyage seems to be the closest competitor as of late, but nothing changed from last year to make me think that any wooden coaster has a shot at Phoenix, so it's Phoenix 100%. As for Best Park, you gotta check where the awards are gonna be held. It's gonna be at Codaland next year. That doesn't have a shot at winning, so I'm going with Dollywood, the winner in 2023, dethroned by Europa Park in 2024 and 2025. I think they regained the crown on the back of Night Flight Expedition, their new $50 million mock rides rocking boat located in Wildwood Grove. That could be enough to push it past Europa Park, coming off Voltron and their 50th anniversary. Now, what coasters will announce their closure, either after this video drops by the end of the year, or sometime in 2026? I'm targeting 6 coasters, all of them in the Six Flags chain. First, Flight Deck at Canada's Wonderland. We saw Time Warp leave. No replacement yet. We know they want to add a water attraction. I doubt they would plan that before Flight Deck's demise, but regardless, If they take this out, they will have one big plot for something new, so maybe they exit at the end of 2025 and set up a nice plot for their next big addition. This being a park Six Flags definitely wants to invest in. Next, Kitty Hawk at Carowinds. This coaster has some problems this year, including a lift hill fire. It's over 20 years old now. I could see them tearing this out and replacing it with a family coaster. Maybe a family boomerang, maybe a flat ride. It just doesn't seem like this ride has a lot of time left. Pandemonium at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. I think this park could be looking at good investment in the future, and they don't have a lot of space to work with. At some point, it seems like they can move this ride to a park that needs a spinner and open up this land in the back of the park for something awesome. Ninja at Six Flags Magic Mountain. It seems like most of these aero-suspended coasters could be in danger soon, and Ninja may be the first to go. Without Superman open, there's really no reason to go on top of the hill anymore aside from Ninja, and if they just want to close off that entire part of the park for the time being, it may be a good time to say goodbye to Ninja. Timberwolf at Worlds of Fun. There have been rumors about this coaster being retracked or RMC'd over the years, and it spent most of 2025 closed. It did open up late in the season. Apparently, it wasn't for refurbishment. It was closed because it failed a state inspection on its elevator or something like that. So, no work was done on the track over its closure, so they may not be committed to keeping it. They have 3 wooden coasters. This is a prime RMC candidate, or they may just close it and replace it eventually. Last one, Invertigo at Kings Island. This ride doesn't really fit into this park anymore. It seems like they can take it down and use that area for a nice new entrance coaster. It's been closed a lot the last 2 years. If they're looking to cut cost, it may be worth closing down for that reason alone. As for new coasters, I think it's safe to say Great Adventure will reveal the replacement for King Ka. We'll see if it's that mock spinning tower coaster or something else, but we should know sometime next year. I also think Six Flags Great America could be ready to reveal their next big project, and it could be a Giga. It might be kinda early for their next big capital investment, but I'm gonna call it here. We hear about it next year. Those 2 coasters might be all the chain can afford, but also look out for Six Flags Fiesta Texas, especially if they do remove Pandemonium. I just want to throw out the fact that Switchback just closed at ZDT's an hour east of this park, and that would be an awesome, family-friendly wooden coaster they can stick on the Pandemonium plot. Also, Worlds of Fun, if they do want to do something about Timberwolf. As for the growing Herschend chain, look for Adventureland and Silver Dollar City to announce something new. The SeaWorld chain could tag SeaWorld San Diego and Busch Gardens Tampa for new rides. San Diego can use so many options that are up SeaWorld's alley, like the Family Invert or Surf Coaster, and Busch Gardens hasn't replaced Scorpion yet. You gotta think something is coming at some point. I also am looking at 2 independent Pennsylvania parks, Knoebels and Hershey Park. Knoebels might be interested in a relocated ride, maybe Switchback, maybe something from Six Flags America, and Hershey Park's last coaster was Wildcat's Revenge in 2023. They might be primed for something new 4 years later. I like the idea of a Vekoma family launch coaster a la Big Bear Mountain. Last one, my bold prediction, and I'm going to take what I said 2 years ago and go even further. I said after the Six Flags Cedar Fair merger was finalized, we would see at least one park closed down by the end of 2024. We got that closure at the end of 2025, Six Flags America, and based on our third quarter earnings call, it seems like a lot more are on the chopping block. Not all of these are going to be closed or sold. It all depends on what they can get back in the sale, or get back for the land the park sits on. But given their aggressive desire to make the chain smaller and more nimble, narrow their focus, wanting to get rid of the parks that aren't going to be part of their long-term plan for growth, I think by this time next year, more than 3 parks currently in the Six Flags chain will be on their way out. We know their intention is there, but we don't know their timeline. Are they wanting to get rid of all these extra parks right away? Or is it a 5 or 10-year plan? We don't know. But I'm saying 4 or more parks will either announce their closure or be sold to another chain like Herschend, or sold to an independent operator, and this will happen by Thanksgiving Day 2026. So there you go. Let me know what you think, if you agree or disagree with any of my predictions, and if you have anything else to add, sound off in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, and if you're new here and love coasters, please give me a sub. I want to thank my Patreons. If you want bonus access, bonus content, and have your name listed at the end of each video, check my links below and join. Also, check out my second channel where I post copyright-free off-ride footage. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.